Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to The Voice Within. It's good to be back. It has been 2 weeks. I didn't post my podcast episode for the 2 weeks because of the situation in the Middle East, and today I finally found some time, energy, space, wisdom to release something into the world for you to listen. Honestly, I have missed this space during these 2 weeks. I have missed place where I can release my thoughts to you, my wisdom to you, where we can speak about the things which are important to us. And during these 2 weeks, I didn't really had much space to think about what I'm gonna record in the first podcast episode after everything what is happening. So today I kind of decide to just take it easy, take it slow, get back into the rhythm of speaking over here and offer you some wisdom that I gained during this 2 weeks of being away from my podcast. So what was happening during these 2 weeks? We have been in Bahrain for almost 1 week during the conflict in the Middle East. And after that, we evacuated to Sarajevo, to Bosnia. It has been very intense. It has been very scary, to be honest, especially for me because I have survived the war in Bosnia in 1992 to 1995. I was just 6 years old, just like my son now, when the war started. And memories of the war that I have survived were really tense, and they were emerging during these 6 days that we have been in Bahrain. I think one of the main reasons that I left Bahrain with my son was basically the feeling that I had and memories of the war that I have survived. I'm not planning today to talk a lot about how did it feel in my body to be again under missiles flying above my head and being terrified. I will just say it was scary, it was intense. I'm getting back into some sort of normal life here in Bosnia, hoping and praying for situation in the Middle East to settle, to get back to normal, to peaceful, so we can go back home. And until then, I will try to share today with you some of the wisdoms that I had during these 2 weeks. This last 2 weeks, they stripped life down to one question, and that one question is, how stable is your nervous system when everything around you isn't? When I look into these 2 weeks, our life has completely flipped in few hours. In less than a week, let's say, I lived evacuation from my home in Bahrain, the tension in the air, the nervous system overload, the tension in parenting, because when we are like mothers tense and terrified and scared, of course, these kind of things are spilling into our parenting. Then we need to regulate our children while we are also completely dysregulated in this kind of very intense situations. I feel like in these 2 weeks I collapsed, and I'm trying now to rebuild myself back to normal, or maybe even to say to stronger than I was before. During these 2 weeks I have realized that when everything external is unstable, the only currency that matters is how stable is our nervous system. Kind of everything else becomes irrelevant. Money, status, power, success, finances, everything becomes completely irrelevant. Only thing which matters is, first of all, our health, our safety, but us like a self-led woman, how stable we are, how peaceful we are, how stable is our nervous system. We as a woman, we often internalize the things around us. We feel it deeply. We feel it emotionally, everything what is happening around us. It doesn't have to be necessarily the instability in the Gulf that I have been living through, but generally in life, women, we feel it so deeply, and we often think that these things, they don't touch us, but deep inside, they leave the mark in our nervous system. And if we don't measure the quality of our life through how stable is our nervous system, we overlook basically how much these things in life, normal things in life, problems, tensions, conflicts, arguments are actually affecting us. We often think, even if I sacrifice some parts of myself, my nervous system, if I regulate situation, if I explain it better, if I manage it better, then it doesn't really matter did that situation affect me deeply or no. As long as it looks peaceful from outside, it doesn't really matter what is happening inside of me. And what this 2 weeks really taught me is that assumption is kind of dangerous, because often puts us in position to sacrifice our nervous system for stability around us. And when our nervous system is affected, when we are dysregulated with the things which are happening around us, when we internalize the things which are happening around us, there is no way we can be stable for ourselves and the people around us that matter to us in our life. During these 2 weeks, I have realized that the only thing which matters is basically how stable is my nervous system. And if my nervous system is calm and not reactive, if I'm not panicking, if I'm able to regulate myself, then I'm able to be regulated for my family and especially for my son like a mother. During these 2 weeks, it kind of stopped being important or stopped mattered the external things, the success. It stopped mattered how other people perceive the things, how other people see us, what other people think about me or about us generally if we speak about self-led woman. It kind of stopped mattering everything. The only thing matters is how do I perceive my reflection in the mirror? Who do I think I am? Am I proud with what I see in the mirror? How stable is my nervous system? How regulated I am for myself and for my family? I have realized how important it is actually to regulate ourselves, to take care for ourselves, to acknowledge and see our own capacities and limits and really cherish them and move based on that capacity. To don't push ourselves beyond that capacity thinking, okay, we are strong, we are women, we can do it. When we do that, basically our nervous system becomes fried, and that fried nervous system spills over into our parenting, motherhood, life, and the way we basically feel in our own skin. I think that regulating yourself and recognizing your limits and your capacity in your life around any problems you have in your life is basically being self-led woman, recognizing when your capacity is at the edge, when you're standing at the cliff, when you cannot carry more than you carry already, and to regulate yourself, to put the load down and take care for your nervous system. I know so many people in my life who physically got ill and got affected by huge level of stress, who physically got problems in their body because they've been suppressing the stress and living constantly in dysregulated nervous system. We often think that, okay, this will not happen to me. This doesn't happen to me. It happens to other people until it happens to us. I have just recently in Bosnia found out about some people who got really ill and sick because of chronic stress, which again confirmed the wisdom that I gained during these 2 weeks, that only important thing is how stable is my nervous system. Is it really important to prove in the certain situations you are right or wrong, or you know better and somebody doesn't know, or your way is correct and somebody else's way is not correct, to prove that you are successful, to prove that you accomplish something, to prove that you meet expectations of the society? Is that even really important if your nervous system is fried while doing that? If you're doing all of those things and you still feel good about yourself and it brings you joy and peace in your life, then yeah, go for it. But if meeting those expectations that you set it in your head for yourself, if meeting them is frying your nervous system, then I think it's really worth of it asking yourself what actually you are doing in your life. Are you adding to your stress more just because you want to align with the social expectations, or you are actually enjoying what you're doing? Because on the end of the story, We stay with ourselves, we stay with our nervous system, we stay with the tension inside of us, we stay with the problems inside of us, with the things and emotions that we internalize. Nobody can feel it for us, nobody can remove it from us. Only person that has complete control over our internal state is ourselves. So becoming the leader in regulating yourself is extremely important and crucial in order for you to protect yourself, first of all, to protect your health, your emotional well-being, and at the same time, when you are regulated, when you are self-led, when you are leading yourself into regulation, you are automatically leading your family into the same place. Woman, mother, is the center of the home. She is the gravity, and everything circles around her. You saw it most probably so many times in your household. When you are not okay, when you don't feel okay, whole house gets dysregulated with you. And sometimes we, like a mother, we feel pressure and guilt to be all the time happy and okay so the whole family could be okay. But if we are just performing that we are okay, then again our nervous system is dysregulated. This is why it's so important that we lead ourselves into real regulation. Our family gravitates around that regulation and everybody becomes regulated with us. And honestly, during these 2 weeks, I saw in such a raw examples how important it is when I am stable, when I am regulated, how I can regulate my son, regulate myself, and how even such a scary and intense situation like some kind of conflict and war in the region where we lived can feel completely different when I am regulated. And on another side, how dramatic and bigger it feels when I reach the point where I'm completely dysregulated. And I'm not saying here that we're supposed to be superpower woman doing regulation when we are actually terrified of the things or exhausted or at our own limits. What I'm saying is, first of all, being honest about our own capacity, recognizing that capacity and taking steps, actions, and measures to protect our nervous system, to regulate ourselves, not pushing beyond our capacity to prove the point, but actually being vulnerable and honest. Where is our edge? Where is our limit? And to pull back from that edge when we see we're gonna collapse. Whenever outside world shakes, the cracks inside of us, they become very visible. Everything what is sitting inside of us kind of comes outside. This last 2 weeks kind of forced me to recalibrate what stability really means. And right now it feels like peaceful nervous system, breathing deeply, feeling deeply, being calm, being in boring calmness, without friction, without tension, without problems, feeling everything around you so deeply and still not allowing, not internalizing things which are not our responsibility, which we cannot change, controlling what we can control, and that is just our internal world. Focusing on peace, focusing on love, focusing on stability inside of us, even when the things around us feel shaky and out of control. So this week I want to encourage you to maybe take a look at your life, see the areas in your life where you allow dysregulations, where you allow to internalize other people's emotions, expectations, where you allow other people's views on life to influence how you feel in your life. Can you disengage from those dynamics? Can you protect your nervous system? Can you just state your posture, state where you are, not trying to change anything, not trying to influence anything, but just deeply focusing on yourself? Can you try to get back to yourself and try to ask yourself, what is it exactly that I need? What is it exactly that I can give to myself by myself? How can I cherish myself more? How can I value myself more? How can I stabilize and regulate myself more? How can I bring peace to my life more without anybody around you? What can you do for yourself by yourself? And magical thing happens when you do this, when you start looking just inside of what you can control yourself. You start feeling very powerful. You start feeling like in control of yourself, your life. You stop internalizing emotions of the people around you, and you just start focusing on only thing which matters is how stable is your nervous system. Does it something affecting you or no? Does it something bringing you benefit or no? Does it harming you or no? And making decision based on that. Because on the end of the story, only thing that we want in our life is to feel peace, stability, love, to feel calmness inside. And only way we can accomplish that is basically if we focus on building just that inside of us, regardless of what is happening around us. And that's it for today. I hope you found some wisdom in today's short podcast episode. And yeah, that's it. I wish you peace. I wish you stable nervous system. I wish you love. I send you thousands of hugs from this side of the microphone, and hopefully next week we hear each other and see each other on time like for the past 2 years. That's it. Wish you a beautiful rest of the day. Bye.